All right, guys. Good morning. Welcome to Research Methods in Fitness. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andreas Tomatis, and I'm going to be the instructor of this course for spring 2021. This is going to be exciting to teach this course. I have prepared a lot of cool stuff for you, and today this is going to be my first video. So just so you know, every Monday I'm going to be creating videos like these where I'm going to be talking about general feedback based on our assignments for the week. And then I'm going to be presenting, lecturing, whatever we have to cover for that week. So for this week, being the very first week of the semester, happy February, by the way. I don't have any feedback because we didn't have anything to submit. As you know, our Moodle site is live, so you can go and check everything out from the beginning all the way to the end of the semester, week 15th. So today I don't have any feedback to share, but I will go over the syllabus, which is very, very important. Most likely the most important thing for this course. I want to make sure we both understand what we are expecting from each other. And then I'm going to go ahead and lecture chapter 1 and let you know, go on Moodle site pretty much and tell you what you have to submit, give you a general idea about the framework of this course. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, share the syllabus with you and talk about it. Well, for the most part, not all of it. You have it since, I don't know, I sent it 3 weeks ago, and then, classes were moved. So I sent it again with new dates. So anyway, I'm going to share my screen and start talking. I'm going to throw a lot of information. So if you have any questions, shoot me an email, use our forum. Also tomorrow we start with office hours, which I'm going to talk about them again, from 8 in the morning until 12:30. And this week we have a synchronous meeting, non-mandatory. I'm going to explain everything as we go. All right, so let me share my screen and start talking about our amazing syllabus. All right. Okay, so hopefully you can see it. This is my name. These are our office hours, which are virtual office hours, obviously, right? So every Tuesday from 8 to 12:30, you can log on. There's a waiting room, so if somebody else is with me talking, I can let you in. So just wait, and I will let you in. I'm going to be sending out, while I'm sending those videos, I'm going to be sending out the Zoom links for our office hours as well. So you will see the link in the post that I'm going to make on our forum. So you can click on it and visit with me if you want to. Okay, every Tuesday from 8 to 12:30. I will be online waiting for you for 4.5 hours. Anything. Okay, let me know. This is my email. I'm always trying to be very fast replying. For the most part, I'm going for less than 24 hours. And just, let's connect, let's talk. I'm here. So shoot me an email if you need anything. All right, so the course description, as you can see, is something that you can read by yourself, right? It's not anything that you cannot understand. We're going to go over the process of research from the very beginning stuff. What is research? Why we do research? How we can do research? All the way until the end of the semester that we're going to do. We're going to talk about dissemination of research findings and how we publish and why we publish. You will have several assignments, which I'm going to talk about later today. And your biggest assignment will be to submit your own research proposal, right? And I don't want you to freak out right now. We're going to go step by step. I'm going to be here. I'm going to help you as much as I can. And I'm very excited to learn from your proposals. It's always exciting to read your proposals. So I told you this is going to be a great course. And let's move on, and I'll explain more. No prereqs. This is our textbook, which you can get as an ebook, and it is required. So if you haven't already, please go ahead and purchase it through the bookstore or through a CSM website, or if you click the ISBN number, you can find the publisher and you can buy it from the publisher. Right, these are the course objectives, all the way from construct research questions, all the way to demonstrating competence in actually conducting human research, which will be pretty much your research proposal. Let me move to the important stuff. So how do you get graded in this class, in this course? Other people name them quizzes. I like more using the term learning opportunities, because I think that's what they are, opportunities to learn. So for those learning opportunities, or LOs, you can get a maximum points of 25 points. We have 23 of them, and I'm going to explain why. You'll see that our chapters are 23, so we have one per chapter. Then we have a PDO, a professional development opportunity, which is something that you can take multiple times. It's free. It's called city training and has to do with researchers. So it's something that we all take before we do research. So that was kind of your midterm. I don't have midterms and finals, but that's, and I had it after spring break. However, this year we don't have spring break. So somewhere in the middle of the semester, I think week 8, you have to do your PDO, which I'm going to explain a little bit. That's 50 points. And then 100 points is your research proposal. That's your final learning opportunity. You're going to have the opportunity. You're going to be able to submit drafts, where I'm going to give you some extra points. And at the same time, hopefully your FLO, your final learning opportunity, will look better at the end because of us communicating back and forth through your drafts. This is the grading scale. I always put the letters and the percentages and the points. This is a grad class, so you need a C or above. I left everything below C, just so you have an idea how, if you are below C, which you're not going to be below C, we're going to do fine. But if you are, in case you are, maybe this will help you to know how far away you are from C, right? It's different if you are in D or C minus, okay, based on the points. Again, in any case, this is a grad course, you need a minimum grade of C, okay? All right, so here, I would like to participate. We'll have the forum, we'll have some synchronous meetings, non-mandatory. I would like you to join, and so we can exchange ideas. I always learn from my students. I'm always humble, and I'm always looking for new ideas and new information. So please, I do believe that we all have experiences to share, not just me, all of us, okay? Your peers in the class can learn from you, and I can definitely learn from you. So don't be afraid, talk, communicate, okay? All right, so the learning opportunities. As you can see here, we have 23 LOs, and it consists of 25 multiple choice or true or false questions from the same chapter, okay? Now, as you can see, I give you an example. LO1 is about chapter 1, which is the one that I'm going to cover today, right? Introduction to research methods. All of them are open. So I spend a significant amount of time when I'm creating my Moodle sites, and when they go live, everything is pretty much set up. So if somebody I don't know, you may have a wedding or you may have a trip somewhere, and you don't want to do the next LO by next week, but you want to finish it today, right? You can go on. You can just have your own pace in a way. You can go fast, you can go slower. You cannot submit something, past the deadline. But I'm giving you the opportunity to be proactive and to manage your own time. So if you want to go faster this week, you want to do some more LOs because next week you won't be able, for whatever reasons. You have a major project at work or another course. You have to fly somewhere. You have to do something. I don't know. I'm giving you that opportunity. Again, everything, all LOs, all projects are open since today midnight, actually. Okay? Check the deadlines. The PDO is about, as I said before, city training. I'm going to explain more as we go. It's not something that you should be worried about right now. You go on a specific site, you create an account, and you pass those modules. Once you pass the modules, you get a certification. You give me the certification, you send me the certification, you get 50 points, right? And that's training that you get for free through Plattsburgh, and you can use anywhere as a researcher. It shows that you have a basic understanding of how you do, especially that Group 2 social behavioral research investigators and key personnel knowledge, okay? And your FLO will be about you, as I said, submitting a research project, right? We will talk about that more as we go, and that's why I have those synchronous meetings as well. So the more we understand, the more you get exposed to information, you're gonna start thinking about your idea, and I'm gonna be telling you, look, this is the time to kind of finalize your idea, do a lit review, do this, do that. I have a lot of information on the Moodle side. I will show you, I have folders specifically for your FLO. This is your big project. It's a personal project. It's not a group project. And also, I'm going to give you the opportunity, as you can see, to submit twice drafts. So draft 1 and draft 2. You will get extra points just for submitting drafts, and also you will get my feedback. So your final version of FLO is excellent. Okay, so we're going to work together. I'm going to go all over the drafts, and I'm going to give you specific and general feedback so as to make them better. Okay? Those are the 3 things. Concerning extra credit opportunities, and I'm going to explain more when I go to the Moodle side. You get some extra credit through the drafts. Also, I'm going to have some synchronous meetings, which they are already determined on our Moodle site. I have fixed everything. Everything is up there. They're non-mandatory, but if you log on, you get 10 extra points. So I'm going to give you a lot of opportunities for extra credit. I want you to do your part. Okay, help me, help you. Okay, you have to meet me halfway. Submit your LOs. Reply to my emails. Check your Moodle. Those are the kind of responsibilities that I'm expecting from a grad student. Give me a second, something happened here. Okay, we're back. So the very first extra credit opportunity is the ECLO. The only thing you have to do is to send me a statement that you have read and that you have understood the syllabus, and you get 10 points. So we start with positive balance already, okay? And that's due on Sunday. Side note, everything is due on Sunday, and I do it that way so you know what to expect. Everything is due on Sundays, almost at midnight, right? And then the next day, you will be expecting videos of me talking. I'm gonna be sending you feedback, personalized feedback if I need to, but in my videos, I'm gonna send general feedback and lecture and remind you what you have for next Sunday. So we're gonna have some kind of framework. So you know, Sundays, submit. Mondays, expect my videos, okay? And then From Monday to Sunday, you have all week to go over the videos, to go over the slideshows, and submit. You don't have to submit on Sunday. That's the deadline, okay? Concerning academic integrity, I hope I'm dealing with grad students, mature people, mature individuals. Do not put me in an awkward position, right? Whatever you write, use your own words. I have plagiarism softwares, and automatically I get feedback and I get it all read if it's, you know, copied and pasted from somewhere else. Do not do that, please, please, please. Do not copy from your peers. Anything you submit or you have submitted in the past goes into the web. So don't do self-plagiarism either, right? Don't submit something that you have already submitted, because I will know if it's online. Just take all this course as an opportunity to learn and grow and evolve, okay? Do not put me in an awkward position, please. Preparation, of course, you need to check your Moodle site. I'm going to be sending you emails. I want to tell you that I know you get a lot of emails from me and others. And I'm just talking about school. I'm not talking about work and stuff like that. So when you get an email from me, it will be kind of important. There is some kind of important information to share, and that's why I'm emailing. So please, I know you can just delete it, see it on your phone and just delete it. But if we can't communicate with each other, and this is an online course, how am I supposed to find you? Okay, I'm not saying that you're going to do it, but there are several times that, you know, I cannot find the student. But then when the student emails me, they expect me to reply in 5 seconds. Okay, and again, I'll do my best. I'll do my part. I'm just telling you, please do your part as well. Check Moodle, check your email, and we'll have office hours, we'll have synchronous meetings. Let's be in touch. Okay, don't show up in April and be like, oh, I missed 15 LOs. What can I do? What can you do? You know what I mean? So again, we're in the same team. We're in the same team. If you have special needs, let me know. But in general, the way I'm designing my courses, my classes, since everything is open, you have all the time of the world, right? You can start, there's no time limit. You can open it and submit it whenever, right? So if you need more time, you have all the time of the world. But still, if you need something, just let me know. The syllabus, we may change it sometimes, but if there is any change, I will let you know, and it's always for you, right? Or something happens to me, I have to present at a conference I didn't know, or something happened, who knows. But if there's a change, you'll know in advance. All right, so here is how it's gonna look. You see on the left column, we have the weeks, and then chapters, and then titles, and then what you have to submit. So for week number 1, I'm doing right now the course introduction, right? I'm talking about the syllabus. I'm also, once I finish this, I'm gonna talk about chapter 1. So for this week, what you have to submit is the ECLO, which I'm gonna show you on Moodle, and LO1. Those are due on Sunday, midnight. Always, everything is due on Sunday, or 99% of the things. I think the FLO is not on a Sunday because it's on finals week, but we'll get there. And Mondays, it's for you to wait for my videos around this time, depending on how much grading I have to do that day, because I need to grade first and then go online, okay? Now that I said online, all my videos are transmitted live on YouTube as well, on the channel that I have. So, and I do that in case somebody wants to watch this online, but live, but also if something happens with Zoom, I have YouTube to save my video so I can share it with you. And this is how we go, 2 chapters per week, which means 2 LOs per week. Here, 8th week, we have an additional, which is the professional learning development opportunity, which is the city training. Excuse me. And then week 12, we're done with everything, and then we move into the drafts. Okay, so week 13, you have a draft. Week 14, you have a second draft, and then the final week, you'll have your FLO. But you see, you have 3 weeks just with drafts. I'm gonna, like right around the middle of the semester, week 8, I'm gonna start talking more about the FLO. For now, remember, this is how we go. 2 chapters per week. The LOs are due on Sundays, Mondays, my time. Good? All right, I'm gonna stop sharing this. If you have any questions, let me know by email or tomorrow, office hours. And I'm gonna go to Moodle, hopefully. If it's open, let me see. Here. We don't need that. Okay. Let me put it in a way that suits my role to students so you can see how you will be able to see it, not me. Excellent. So go here and I'm going to share my screen. So this is our Moodle site, okay? Hope you have already visited it. Our syllabus right here. That's my teaching philosophy. Here is when I'm going to be posting videos, announcements, everything. And you're going to be receiving an email. These are all, it's a file just for the FLO. I'm not going to open it today. I don't want to overwhelm you if I haven't already. And you can see that it is designed per week, right? First week, second week. Which, by the way, I had to change everything when they just told us to start a week later, but we're all good. This is the SCLO. As you can see, you have 6 days and 13 hours, and you can put your submission here, which is, again, a statement that you have read and you have understood the syllabus, okay? I think I had already 4 people doing it. For some people that send me messages through Moodle or emails, no. This is the way to do it. You go here. Today I'm going to cover chapter 1, right? And you have to do LO 1, which again, you can have 2 attempts. I'm going to hold the last one, so be careful. And you have until Sunday midnight, okay? You have my video, you have the slideshow, you have the book. They should be not too challenging, okay? I want you to learn. Also, tomorrow office hours, but also this week, we'll have a synchronous meeting. Why? It's good, I think, to start with a synchronous meeting. We have synchronous meetings, 6 of them, as you can see. So if you attend all 6 of them, if you can, non-mandatory, you get 60 points, 10 points for each. But also, you know, we put faces on this. I can see, you can see me, you can give me some feedback. If I can change something, I can give you some feedback. Like, we create that sense of community, that you're not somewhere by yourself, right? So these, I don't have to do synchronous meetings. I just make them because I want to see you guys. I love my job and I want to communicate and I want to interact, okay? So this is an opportunity for us to connect, another opportunity, an additional opportunity, and it's going to be live. So you can just talk face to face in a way, virtually. So here, if you click on it, it takes you here. It says, let's visit non-mandatory extra points. It says a time. The times, I change them because somebody will say, you know, I'll work at 8 or this, or you don't know where I am, you know, it's minus 6 hours or plus 9 hours, whatever. Like, there are people all over the world in this class. So I change them a little bit, but at the end of the day, it cannot be fair for all of you. Like, in all 6 meetings, you're going to be available because they're just random days and random times, okay? Although I'm changing them a little bit. So you click on the link and then log on. Let's visit. All right. So this is the first one. The second one, I think, is week 4, if I remember well. But everything is already planned. So for this week, you know, my videos on Monday, right? Office hours tomorrow, 8 to 12:30. Synchronous meeting on Wednesday at 8. It's 45 minutes. If we need to use the whole thing, cool. If we don't, cool. Right? And Sunday you submit. What do you submit? LO1 and ECLO. Cool. I'll go back. And that's how it goes, right? Synchronous meeting is week 5, I think. I see here, the second one. Cool. Again, let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to stop sharing this, and now I'm going to move to what we have to cover today. All right. Let me see if this is working. Cool. All right, guys. So this is a newish book. I really like it. It doesn't go into a lot of detail. And as we go through this book, we're going to start from the very beginning, why we do research, and then how we do it, the different ways of doing it, issues, and then we'll talk about applications. And as I said before, all the way to how we publish it, why we publish it. We're going to cover also how we study research. We get a paper. Is that good for me? Does it say what I was looking for? What is peer review process? All of these things. We're going to go slowly, and we're going to cover them. And I'm always excited to teach research methods. I'm always excited, and it's such an important course, not only because it will help you develop your own research ideas, but also will help you read research and understand research. Okay, you are in a grad program now, and if that hasn't already happened, we will try to do it through this course. So this is something that we have in the beginning of every chapter. What is this figure? This figure talks about the scientific method. Scientific method is something that we really appreciate, and we're going to be talking about it a lot. And as you can see on the right side, there's a blue box with some arrows coming out of it. It says search for answers. Everything starts with some kind of curiosity, right? So we need some answers. For us, we need some answers as scientists, as practitioners in exercise science. So first, we move to the left and we see, what do we know? Has somebody already answered that question about heat training and hyperglycemia in older adults? Oh, it has been answered. Cool. Then I take that and I practice. You see, evidence-based practice. I practice based on the evidence, which is the ultimate goal, evidence-based practice. Now, if it hasn't been answered, then instead of moving up, I'm going downward. So from search the answers, I'm going downward. And then I develop my own study. I have a research question. I have a hypothesis. We're going to talk about this. I test my hypothesis through my study, which I just see I may be needing funding for this study. I need approval for this study. Right? Maybe I need to pilot study. I need a pilot study before I move into larger scale studies. And then I have some preliminary data that I'm going to use in order to make a case that we need to keep researching. All right? You conduct the study, you collect the data, and you haven't even started. So then you move to the left side, you see, okay, you have the data, you have to analyze the data, right? If they're in the laboratory, you have to do any kind of analysis you have to do in the lab, and then put them in a statistical program, do the analysis, and then see what you have. You go back to research question. Did you answer your research question? Did you had a hypothesis? Do you have evidence to keep the hypothesis, or you're disproving your own hypothesis? Anyway, you write your manuscript, right? You submit it to a journal. It may get accepted, but also may get rejected. If you get rejected, you go back to the manuscript preparation. Anyway, at some point, hopefully, it's a long process, as you can see. It gets accepted, and then you publish your manuscript. It gets published, and it becomes part of the body of knowledge. That's the cool part about research. You leave something behind. You add something in science forever. Okay, and then others have other questions, and then they look in the body of knowledge, and maybe you have answered that question, or maybe not. So you become part of that body of knowledge, right? You create legacy in a way. So that's kind of a general description of the scientific method and how we do research. Uh, we're going to talk about all these terms, and I would like you to kind of know these terms as we finish this chapter. And some of them, they're going to be questions in items or questions of your LO. Now, here we see the scientific method again. You have a question, you see if it's answered. If not, you have to develop a hypothesis. Then you have to test your hypothesis by conducting experiments. And here I want to say that if a hypothesis has been tested and proved right in a lot of different experiments and settings, then we create a theory, right? Which is pretty amazing. So then, as I said, you conduct those experiments, you analyze the data, you have some conclusions, and then you disseminate the findings. When you draw conclusions, I want to say that you pretty much talk about the inferences. Be careful with the terminology. Inferences of the results. So you analyze the data, you found something, right? What does it mean? That's the conclusion. And then when you figure out what it means, you have to disseminate the findings. Again, dissemination, very important part of being a researcher and a scientist in general. It's your ethical obligation. If you know something, right? If you progress science in any way, you need to share. You cannot keep knowledge for yourself. So dissemination is the last part, but a very important part. And we'll see how we can disseminate findings in a little bit, right? And this is a scientific method that we love so dearly, okay, and we follow. In general, we have many types of doing research, and we can categorize them using different criteria. For us in exercise science, and for this course specifically, we're going to talk mainly about experimental versus descriptive, although we have others as well, as you can see, laboratory versus field basic versus applied, and quantitative versus qualitative. Let's start with the most important, experimental versus descriptive. All right, I'll start with descriptive. Have you ever heard the term correlation? Correlation identifies relationships, right? So we have some phenomena, some characteristics. And we can say that when it's sunny, people consume more ice cream. So there is a positive relationship between weather or temperature and ice cream consumption. That's a descriptive study. I'm just describing a phenomenon. Okay, I do not explain why this is happening. Why? Because I didn't want to. That was not part of my research question. I don't know why, but I'm not explaining it. So there's no causal relationship explanation in descriptive research. I want you to remember that. Okay, you say that A is connected this way with B. That's it. You don't. If you didn't investigate the mechanisms behind it, the etiology, then you can't say why. Descriptive is very important, right? A lot of times before we go to experimental, we need to do descriptive research. Because first one, we figure out there's a relationship, and then we go to experimental. And experimental explains that cause and effect, why this is happening. So you have variables, and as you can see, there's another terminology there, intervention, which is pretty much something that you manipulate more, less, know of this, a lot of this, whatever, and then you see how that affects whatever you're looking for, right? So in our case, could be ice cream consumption. So you could manipulate temperature, right? You have two groups. One lives in a very cold area, and one lives in a very warm area, something like that. But the intervention is something that you manipulate, and you're doing that in order to find that explanation you've been looking for. Why is ice cream consumption going up and down. So let me manipulate something and see the effect. And then assuming we'll talk about are you controlling for other factors, because there are many other variables, right? AIDS, even sex, even culture can affect whatever. So assuming you're controlling for a lot of factors, you can then make a statement about why this is happening. So again, although experimental for some people is considered superior because it can answer the question of why, it's just different. Descriptive answers the question of what kind of relationship we have, and experimental pretty much answers the question of why we have this relationship between those variables. Okay, a lot of times we need descriptive in order to make a case that we need experimental, because if there's no relationship, we don't have right to investigate the why. All right, let's see about laboratory and field. That's another debate. Which one is better? One, you do it in the lab. And in the lab, the good thing about lab, the major advantage is that you can control for so many variables. Temperature, light exposure, anything that you can control in a closed space environment, right? It's good for statistics because you control for those variables. So if you have a change in the variable that you were looking for, then you can make a statement that, okay, since everything else was the same between all the groups and the only difference was that I changed the temperature, then I can make a comment that it's the temperature that affects, or mainly, ice cream consumption. All right? The downside, the bad thing, the disadvantage of laboratory research is that real life doesn't happen in labs, right? So if I do research outside the lab, it's more realistic, but there's so many variables that you don't control. So then you have issues on how to draw those conclusions and inferences because you didn't control for so many variables that happen in real world. Basic and applied. Basic is research that a lot of times comes before applied, and basic is more about constructing those theories. And then applied is pretty much you apply those theories and you try to see if they work in different kind of settings. So both of them are great. And in most cases, you can have applied if you don't have basic. Okay, it's not that applied research is better than basic or basic is better than applied. We need both. And both of them, the way they're designed, answer different parts, maybe of the same question. So again, basic can really answer more general questions. And then applied, you take that theory and you apply it in more specific settings. Okay, that's a very simplistic way to explain it, but we'll go back to this. Quantitative versus qualitative. So which one is better? Again, my favorite answer in all of these questions and in general is it depends. Okay, so it depends. There are things that we should investigate in depth, right? For example, with interviews, and find those 5 gold medalists that did one thing that we were looking for, but there are only 5, so we're going to interview them and just try to go into depth about whatever we're looking for. It's qualitative. Quantitative. Now here, we quantify, obviously, and we have numbers. Is it better? Is it worse? No. It depends on the research question. And for each research question, we have to figure out what kind of research we need to design to answer that specific research question that you have. So be mindful while you're designing your own research proposal. So there's no better. It's just better for your RQ, research question. That's what you should be looking for. Okay, that's what I want you to remember. So if your research question will be answered better in a lab, go for it. If it's applied, it's applied. If it needs questionnaires and more quantitative data or whatever you're doing, okay. Now we have some methods now that are non-scientific. And we're going to talk about 3 of them today, this week. The first one is the empirical method. It has to do with personal experiences. And in a way, if something happened to me, right, and it worked this way, sometimes I make the assumption that if it happens to you, it will work the same way as well. Or I saw something that happened to them and it worked this way, so if you do it, it most likely work this way for you too. If we don't properly, as you can see, quantify and analyze it, the specific conditions, why it happened, how it happened, and everything, then we're going to end up with something that's very non-scientific, and it's problematic because it reminds me of a very well-known bias, which is availability. And that happens all over the place. Think about it. A lot of times people judge our lives based on their lives. So whatever they've experienced, they think that we will experience the same thing, but it's not like that at all, right? Availability is a very well-known bias. And this can happen here as well. Because it worked for you, or it didn't work for you, or it worked for your cousin, or your coach, or whoever, it doesn't mean that it may, but it may not. So we need to break it down, as you see, quantify it and analyze it. That's the empirical method. The rationalistic method comes all the way from philosophy, and it talks about that with reasoning and logic, we can produce facts and we can solve all issues, and logic should be the basis of everything. But not everything is based on logic. Math is. Mathematics are based on logic, and that's great, and that's why logic explains mathematics. But not all issues are based on logic, so it doesn't have applicability as much as they're proposing. And the last one, which is very common, especially in our field with coaches and everything, trial and method, we keep trying different things until one works. And then if it works, we keep doing it. It's great. It's not a scientific method at all, right? It's anecdotally based most of the time, trial and error. It's awesome because based on that, we can start maybe creating some kind of theories, but it's not a true experiment, right? We're going to talk about what a true experiment is as we go on. But again, trial and error in our field is very useful. It's not scientific though, but we can use it in a way to make science later on. Now, forces that draw the research process, tradition, right? If something has been working for 5, 10, 20 years, maybe we don't even know why it's working, but if it's working, a lot of times we don't change it. Superstition has to do more of like the supernatural, right? And the planets align this way or that way, and that will affect this. It's something that can drive research methods. Authority. Who said that we should do things this way? If somebody who is in a position of authority, that can affect the way we do research right now and not change it, or if that authority says, let's change the way we're doing it, then we will change the way we're doing research process. And by authority, it can be a person or it can be an organization, right? American Heart Association, American College of Sports Medicine, if they come out and say something different, maybe we'll change the way we do research. And then bias, there's always bias in research, always. Whether we want it or not, whether we understand it or not, right? We are all biased. I'm biased, you're biased. And it's not definitely your fault. Our goal is to try to identify our biases or our blind spots and work on them and produce research that is as much as possible, like the least biased research that we can. There's no way we're not biased. There's no way. Even from the moment you create your hypothesis and your research question, in your head, you have an idea of what's going to happen. And that could even affect the way you analyze data or you write down what your results mean. You're biased. We're all biased, right? Because we're expecting something. That's just an example. So again, work on identifying your biases and your blind spots, and try to produce research that is the least biased. In general, I want to make a statement about research in a second and how important is the designing part. Okay, but when we talk about disseminations, where we can disseminate conferences. Our students have gone to the Greater New York ACSM chapter and have won a couple of times. They have gone to the Texas ACSM. Actually, one student of this course is going to present some preliminary data of a pilot study we're doing right now in the Texas ACSM chapter conference in February. And you can do it through a poster, you can be oral. Right now, all conferences are virtual, so you submit your abstract, and if it gets accepted, you submit also a 5-minute, 3-minute video. But that's one way. You go to the conferences, it's great, you meet other people, they give you feedback about your research. You can go on and do it differently, or you get ideas about another project. It's very cool. And if somebody is interested in actually doing research or wants to move towards become a researcher or wants to go towards a PhD program, let me know. I may have something for you. We can collaborate, okay? And then, of course, the peer-reviewed scientific journals are the way we publish research. And when we talk about journals, you see scientific journals, and then the peer review have to do with a specific process, okay? And it's not a perfect process, but it's the best process we have right now, and or less biased, however you want to call it. In general, a manuscript will have those 4 plus references, those 4 blocks of information. You have an introduction, which pretty much you talk about what's out there, and then you identify a gap in the literature. So we know this, we know this, we don't know this. Therefore, the purpose of this study is to investigate this. And our hypothesis is this, that if this goes up, then this will go down, something. Or if this and this go up, this and this will go down. So you have your variables. And that's the end of the introduction. The methods is, what's your sample, right? How did you record your sample? How did you collect data? What kind of instruments you use? What else do you have in there? You have of course, the participants. You have the procedure, how you're going to do it. You have definitely the statistical analysis, like how you're going to analyze the data, in which a lot of times we even put the software in there. Like it's going to happen in SPSS or R or Excel, Jump, whatever. And yeah, and that's the methods. So the introduction is why you're doing it. The methods is how you're going to do it, and the results is what did you find. All right. So there you throw numbers, or if it's qualitative statements, whatever. So we found this and this and this and this and this and this. You don't try to explain what they mean. You just say what you found. Explaining goes into discussion, right? There you say, what does it mean? You know, who should care about this, right? So you go back and like, okay, we found this, which means this. And by this, we have evidence to support our hypothesis, or reject our hypothesis, okay? And then you can talk a lot of times about what future studies should do. And you also talk about your limitations. All studies have limitations, right? It can be the sample size. It can be that you only did females, but we should also investigate in males. Or you did older adults, but we should do in adolescents. It can be anything. Or we use this questionnaire, but there are other questionnaires out there. I don't know, or we collected data 2 times, but maybe if we had, you know, the resources, we should, like if we have collected 5 times, it would be better. It would be a longitudinal design. So you put that in the limitations, and then at the very end, you put the references. And there are different styles. We're going to be using APA, the latest version, but there are different styles of how you cite research in your own research. Yeah, the peer review process. So the peer review process is a process that we're going to go over in a specific chapter about this. I'm a reviewer. I'm also an editor in a journal. So um, when people finish the manuscript, they submit it to a journal that they think is most appropriate, right? I see it as an editor. If I think it fits, then I see the quality. And if I think the topic is great and the quality is great, then I send it out to reviewers, right? The reviewers, most likely two of them, they're gonna investigate the quality of the manuscript. They're gonna have a specific rubric that the editor gives them, and they grade. And they send feedback to me. I read the feedback with their suggestions because they suggest what we should do with it. And then I have to make a decision, right? Now, when I'm sending it to the reviewers, it can be unblinded, as you can see. So the reviewers know the authors and the authors know the reviewers. So full transparency. That has its benefits, but it can also go all the way to double blinded, which means neither the authors nor the reviewers know each other's identity, which has other benefits, as you understand. So it really depends on how the journal wants to do things. There are journals that can be unblinded, single-blinded, double-blinded. The most common is double-blinded. It's not perfect, but the idea behind it is that I don't know your name, you don't know my name, so I'm not judging your work based on your name. Because if I know your name, maybe I like you, maybe I don't like you. So then automatically I'm biased. Okay? That's the main idea behind the double blinded. Now, once I get I want to go here, I'm going to come back. Once I get the feedback from the reviewers, I'm going to have to make a decision, right? So it's either reject, well, both reviewers said, no, there's nothing we can fix it. There's nothing that can be fixed in this one. Reject it. So I reject it. So, or we accept it with major revisions. So we send it back. They fix it, and they need a lot of fixing. They send it to me. I send it to the reviewers, and we go over that process as many times as we need. Minor revisions, again, I accept it, but they need to fix some specific things, less, fewer than in major revision, or I accept without revision, which is very, very rare. Okay. And I actually had my first manuscript that was accepted without revisions 3 weeks ago, and I was really, really happy because it's very, very rare for somebody to, the reviewers to read it and be like, it's good to go. No feedback, no suggestions. Anyway, so these are, it's either reject or accept with all these three subcategories. Without revision, minor revision, major revision. Again, we have a chapter. We're going to go over this again. Now, as I said before, this course is beneficial not only because you're going to be able to start doing your own research, but also will help you reading published research. A lot of times we see an article that says, you know, I don't know, let's say about keto, right? And keto was beneficial. So somebody will say, oh, I'll do keto, keto is the best. Like, was it really? Slow down, wait a second. Let's read the paper. Let's say it was about older adults that had cancer and it helped them doing this. Does that really apply to you? Like, no. So a lot of time we'll have to read in between the lines. A lot of published research is not high quality. It can be, yeah, okay. Or it can be high quality, but then won't apply to you or to your research project that you want to use it to know, let's say for this course. So when you find something, you need to understand, what's the research question? What are they looking for? How did they do it? Do you agree with the way they did it? Okay, what did they find? And how did they interpret those findings? Again, not all published research, remember that, not all published research, including mine, is of high quality. It's not. That's a lot of times we do meta-analysis and we check, bias or the quality in research. So the fact that it's published doesn't mean that it's high quality research. We've got to investigate. And even if it is, it may not be applicable to you or whatever you're trying to do. Okay? These are pretty much our take-home points. I talked about the research method, right, which is really important, which is there to answer questions in test hypothesis, or test hypothesis and answer questions, however you want to take it. Research method is the gold standard right now in research. We talked about other ways to do research that is not scientific, but could be helpful. And the bottom line is we do research, we need to evolve theories, but also we need to evolve practice, disseminate everything we know so practitioners, clinicians, in our case could be coaches, right? Take that information, use it, it's evident, and then all this called evidence-based practice, right? Use that information that has been published and tested through the scientific method and be better practitioners. Help their clients, help their trainees, help their patients even more, okay? That's all. I'm gonna stop sharing this. And all right, so that's all for today. I want to welcome you again in this course. I'm very excited. I hope you are too. It's going to be a great semester. Anything you want to know or anything you want to communicate with me, we have mails, forum, office hours, and a lot of synchronous meetings, 6 of them. So I'm here. Let me know if you need anything. I want to remind you 3 things. This Sunday, ECLO LO1, due midnight. Tomorrow, from 8 to 12:30, New York time, Eastern time, Standard Time, office hours. And Wednesday at 8 o'clock in the morning for 45 minutes, our first synchronous meeting. For 45 minutes, we don't have to use all of it if we don't need to. Let's connect and give me the chance to give you some more extra credit. Okay, let's have a great semester. And as I'm going to be ending all my videos from now on, in the meantime, lift intentionally, not habitually. Bye, guys.